hear myself through my headphones. Yes, man. Like, I feel real good about this right now.
Pay attention, because you are now listening to Permission to Speak Freely. All right, world. Hey, this your boy, man. I'm back, man. It's been a while. It's been months and months and months since you guys see my face, but I'm back, man. I'm ready to have some fun today. Before I go back underway again, this active duty Navy life is really setting in when you on sea duty. When you on short duty, it's kind of like, you're chilling, you're kicking back. Sometimes you're doing 2 episodes a week. Right, but now I can't even get 1 episode in, right? So it's rough on me right now, man. As you guys can see, Damo is gonna be coming in a few minutes. He has some things going on, but as you also can see, we got 2 guests today, right? We got Miss Katherine Butler, and we got Mr. Jamal Mays, right? So, we gonna get started. We gonna talk about some things today. We're gonna talk about retirement. We're gonna be talking about transitioning out the Navy, and then I'm gonna tell you, before we even get started and introduce them, I'm a big fan of whatever your issue is, whatever you want to do in the Navy, I'm all for it. I'm not trying to keep you in. I'm not trying to tell you to get out. It's whatever you want to do, and I'm going to move forward, and I'm going to help you whatever way I can possible. That's my whole thoughts on it. But with that being said, I used to be that guy, though. I used to be that guy. Oh. I used to be that guy that stay Navy. Go. I used to be him. I'm about to get educated today. I know I'm about to get educated. But I really did used to be that guy, man. So, ladies first, we're going to start with Miss Katherine, and we're going to say, first let's start with like where you're from, what made you join the Navy, and we'll go from there.
Okay. Good evening, day, everyone. Katherine Butler. I'm hailing all the way from New York City.
I knew it. I couldn't hear it. I couldn't hear it. I was
like, and I was in, I'm gonna start off and saying, when you first think about it, of course, when you young, you think about this as a negative, but it ultimately turned into a positive. I was a teenage pregnancy. I had my son when I was just at that age, just turning 18 years old. And I was going to college. I was working full time. At a bank. I was trying to go to school because I always wanted to, I wanted to continue on in college and stuff. And it just wasn't working. So one day, all the time, they always have this, they always have recruiters up at the college. I was going to Nassau Community College out in Garden City, Long Island. And, recruiters, and they was always say, hey, sis. I was like, I ain't going to no Army. No, thank you. So just one day, I was working at Chase at night in their research department, and I had a friend, her sister was in the Army, and she was taking leave to go to Germany to see her sister. Her sister just had a baby. And I said, how's your sister in the Army with a baby? She was like, she was just like, Katherine, people in the military have kids, and is this like a job? And I was like, really? So she was just like, yeah. And I was like, okay. So when this Navy recruiter, trying to say, hey, sis, I said, and I started to listen. I said, okay. They was like, what you want to do? When I was in Nassau Community College, I wanted to do nursing, but the waiting list was so long and it was so competitive. And so I just said, I wanted to, do nursing. And it was just like, okay, that's for hospital corpsmen. And this is in 1994. Okay, this is in 1994. So they were like, that's a hospital corpsman. So I was like, okay, I want to do that. So I went through to maps. I took the test. I got a pretty decent score. And so, but the only thing hospital corpsman was delayed. That was in April, the latter part of March. And so the next class wasn't starting up until like, the fall or something. I was like, if I don't go now, I ain't going. So they was just like, no, we gonna find something for you. So of course you go down to MEPS and they have all these jobs. And one thing my recruiter said to me, she was like, don't take undesignated semen. She said they're going to try to sell it to you. They're going to try to make it sound so good. Don't take it. She said, you better not come back to this MEP center, back to this office and not have a job. So guess what? MEPS was, they was trying to sell it to me and I almost took it. And I said, she was like, don't worry, you could pick anything you want to do. You can be in for 3 years and then just pick any rate you want and da-da-da-da-da. And I almost fell for it, but I remember my recruiter was like, don't take undesignated semen. So I had a choice between a CS or at that time a postal clerk. So I was like, well, of course they sell the postal clerk to you, and they was like, oh, they don't work on the weekends and yada yada yada. And so I took postal clerk. So I came in as a postal clerk. First duty station was Sigonella, Sicily. I was on the one of the first ships that accepted females. It was a subtender. It was the Simon Lake was forward deployed to La Maddalena. Italy was beautiful. Then I went to Bahrain. The first time I ever went to Bahrain, first time I ever went to Dubai was in 1998, and I've been back like 10 times after that. I was stationed at the Naval Hospital as a postal clerk the first time, and then I was on the USS. I was on the Enterprise. But I went to the Enterprise as a SARP counselor because they didn't, believe it or not, they didn't have any ships for me to go to at that time when I was looking for orders. They was like, we have no ships. They was like, you got to go overseas.
What was your rank then?
Oh, at the time when I got to the Enterprise, I was a first class. Yeah, I was a first class. And that's that time when there was this time when the postal clerks and the SKs was merging. So the AKs and the SKs had already merged, and then they wanted to throw the postal clerks in there. So we couldn't go to small boys. We could only go to the big deck. So that's why I had to go to the Enterprise. But I ended up going to the Enterprise as a substance abuse counselor. Went to the Naval Hospital again. Left the Naval Hospital, went to the Truman, and then I ended up retiring on the USS Carney. So
yeah, most of that.
And that was in Jacksonville.
Man, what's up? Hey, real quick, what's up, Damo? What's going on, man?
Hey, look. Hey, y'all. Hey, I'm sorry I'm late, y'all. I just came from a DRB at my command.
Oh, wow.
And it was a 5-hour. Look, I'm on leave. My leave started today. You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
Let's just get honest. You know what I mean?
And you ain't gonna get that day back either. You do not get that day back.
I'm on leave. My leave started today. I've been at DRB for the last 5 hours. Just trying to do the right thing for the sailors, for the command, for like everything. So I just wanted to make sure it was right. So we did the DRB. It was like 5 hours long. Then I'm wearing for the listeners, I'm wearing the CVN 77 ball cap. It's because I really I just had my uniform on. I just rushed, took it off so I could make sure I got here in a decent enough time. The last time I had this ball cap on, David, we put out a clip about awards, and somebody just hit me in the comments like, hey, why don't you talk to the people on the CVN 77 and fix their awards? Hey, look, man, I ain't on 77, y'all. I ain't on 77 right now. I was there a while ago, man. I can't help them out, man. You know what I mean? Hey, what's up, y'all? What I missed?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm blessed.
Hey,
I'm happy.
You haven't missed much. You haven't missed a lot, man. We just got started, man. Katherine just went and did her introduction, man. Where she from? Where she been? How she got where she at right now? So that's kind of what she went through. Now Jamal finna give us a quick rundown on him, real quick, man.
Okay. Hey, Jamal, before you start, hey, Katherine, what was your rate?
I started out as a postal clerk and ended up as a logistics specialist.
Okay. All right.
Guys, Jamal, go ahead, man.
Good morning, evening, night, wherever you're located. But so I joined the Navy in 2018. And before that, I was doing multiple different jobs. I was a flight attendant. I worked at Verizon, and I was working at the mall. And so I'm from Kansas City, Missouri. And what I wanted to do was be able to relocate. But to relocate, you need a job. Because a lot of people don't offer relocation bonuses like they are now. And so I said, okay, well, look, I want to go somewhere where I will love where I'm at and make that my new home. And the Navy, I was like, Army, being in Missouri, they have Fort Lindenwood. I was like, I don't want to be staying around here. Coast Guard, not too popular in Kansas City, Missouri. So they're more of a coastal place where they recruit. The Marines was not responding. And
bless them.
And I know. And then the Navy is like, okay, well, here's the cities. I was like, I looked at the 3 big bases, Jacksonville, Norfolk, and San Diego. I said, okay, those look like some cool spots I'd like to live. Went in and joined. And they put me in the program. I was contracted to leave. It was about June of 2017. I was in the DEP program, the late entry program, and I was supposed to join in April of 2018. Give me some time to transition, work on my jobs, and save a little bit of money. They said, hey, we got a program where if you leave sooner, we will give you a bonus. I was like, hey, I'm trying to move. I need this bonus.
Let's go. Let's get that money.
Yeah, I said, okay. What does this require? I get to keep my job. I was scheduled to be AV, so go either AE or AT, but the contract said AV to begin with. And I said, okay. I was like, you don't get to keep your job, but you do get to choose whatever job you like. I said, oh. Okay. Yeah, this is the undesignated program. I didn't know that's what it was called at the time. They sold it as an internship. They said, as soon as you get to your command, let them know, like, hey, what job you're interested in, and then you'll be able to go for a job and select that job and do on-the-job training, and then that will be your new job. I said, oh, okay, that sounds really cool. And I get to keep the bonus. It's like, yeah, you get to keep the bonus. I said, you get to go wherever you like. I said, okay. So I'm going there. Also, I tried to go the OCS route as I had a degree. But at that time in 2018, I didn't test high enough. I only qualified at the minimum level to be a pilot, but I had 0 aviation training. So that wasn't going to work out for me.
You said I'm an attendant,
exactly,
not a pilot.
That part there.
Did you? Yeah. Did you always have a beard?
I initially, no. Moving forward, went to boot camp, got to my first duty station as an undesignated airman. And where do they go? They go to the flight deck. So I was an ABH as an undesignated airman. And can you have beards there? Absolutely not. So I shaved the first 2 weeks. I had a beard and boot camp. And then shaved in the first 2 weeks. They saw me. I looked like you could play Connect the Dot on my face. I was bumping up so bad. It was terrible. And then after 2 weeks, they said, go to medical. We don't want to look at you. I said, okay. Got my nose shaved.
Because I thought we had Dwayne. Wade on.
I got that a lot. When I was a flight attendant, I did get that a lot. I'll take it.
Hey, Katherine, when did you retire?
I retired in 2015, and I was at LS1. And let me tell you, I was a little heartache when I retired because, of course, the ultimate goal is to make chief. And so, but guess what? When you're on the other side, it don't matter. Yeah, it don't matter. It don't matter. Cause, and I'll go into something else. And then my son, and he ended up whatever I didn't. Well, he ended up going. He got selected for OCS.
Nice.
And so he finished up in July of this year, and he's going to a sub. That's another story. And so he just finished sub training in Groton, Connecticut. So he's going out to the West Coast. He's going to be the suppo on the USS, one of those submarines out there. I can't think of the name right now. And this is him right here. This is his school. This is it right here. OCS. Nice. So that's what I said. When I started out saying something that turned out it was negative, it ended up, of course, being a definite positive in my life. So yeah,
that's big time right there.
Yeah, and Jamal, you didn't retire, right? You got out before retirement?
Yes, I got out of February this year, February 19th. That's my sister's birthday, 2024. And I got out as a E5 and a YN.
Okay. And,
I thought you was an ABF. I thought you had their fueled flight jet jersey on.
There ain't nothing military affiliated on me. Okay. This is just the workout shirt. I cut ties.
Okay. So you got out as a YN. Somewhere, you didn't get to YN yet in your story though, right?
Nuh-uh.
Okay. All right. So continue. What got you to?
You cut him off.
Permission to speak freely. I'm just going with the flow.
There's a lot happening right there, man. I had to bring Katherine back into the fold a little bit.
I'm here.
So when did that rate change? So
yes, you have to be undesignated. They tell you, once you get to the boat, you have a year. Well, that's not true. You have to do your full 2 years. So you get to the boat and then it's 2 years from that point of when you get to the boat. And then you can strike, and you can strike within that. It's like the 13th month after the 12th month starts. Then the 13th month is when you're eligible to start looking. But of course, nobody gets picked up right away. You have to wait at least 6 months. Mm-hmm. So it really goes in. You have to fulfill those full 2 years. So I got picked up in my 11th month of choosing before they were going to choose a rate for me to be YN. And I was at.
You was like, oh man, they gonna make me an EM or a DC. Let me hurry up and pick her. I don't want to be an EM or DC. They trying to make you an electrician, man. You better hurry up.
Only thing I did observe from there is being on the flight deck for the few times I was up there. I was on the mentality to work smarter, not harder, because I was like, everybody's getting paid the same. And I saw those yellow shirts up there working hard, while there's other like YNs and other rates sitting down in the jackets and cold, and they all getting paid the same. So I was like, that's the part I was like, you know what? Let me think about being able to take something from what I'm doing now that can apply to what I want to do in the future. So that's how I thought.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, Jamal, real quick with you, man, that you know that your people you work for, they know exactly when, you up for that quota, right? Of being when you undesignated. They may tell you 18 months, they may tell you 30 months, but the person who going through it, we know exactly, right? Like, it was 24 months exactly. Yes. Everybody else want to give you something. They want to give you different numbers. They want to give you this. But when you're going through it, like I did, I had to go through it too because I was undead also. Yes. So I know exactly when that time is, man. Exactly on the dot.
I will say that,
to get out of what I was
doing. I will say that the people that I was working with specifically, there was an ABE1. She was very helpful. So I'm going to give her kudos because, there's very few people like when you're undes, it's like you just swept to the side. You're going to do this job because that's what you're here for. That's what your contract says. But I would give her a shout out. She was very helpful. And then on the note on Katherine and her son, I also tried to submit an OCS package while I was undes, but I was on my first deployment with the USS Abraham Lincoln and did the around the world tour. And with that one, I learned the hard way. I submitted the whole package, did everything on my own. I was trying to be a SWO. I said, I don't care. I just want to be an officer. And I got all the way submitted, captain, and then everything else went through the ESO and it never got submitted. And now on the YN side, I can see that when you look through your records, there's no history of my OCS package ever being submitted. So, and that's why earlier it was like, stay Navy, stay Navy, stay Navy. I was ready to dedicate, do the SWO life. After that, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take what I can from this and move forward. So,
would you retire at, Katherine? Was it 20?
You know what? I had to do an extra year because of a school I had. So I ended up doing 21 years.
Yeah. Did you want to retire at 21 or did you want to keep it going?
Well, and I think I know what you're hitting at. So the year that I was gonna, when I was on the USS Carney in 2000, April of 2000, I retired the April 2015. But prior to that, my senior chief at the time was, and my master chief, it was us. I don't want to misquote anybody, but it was supposed to be. They knew that a higher tenure change was coming. So that if you first classes, E6s, you could ended up going over 20 years, right? Mm-hmm. And so that would have given me an opportunity to make another chance to make chief, right? Uh-huh. But I was on the USS Carney, and let me tell you something, and that's a DDG. Let me tell you, when they say all hands on deck, it's all hands on deck. Yeah. And I was on back-to-back deployments. I was on the Truman, and then I flew, and then I went out and joined them on deployment. And I just said, now, if I was on a big deck, if I was still on a carrier, I probably would say, okay, yeah, I'll stay on there a little longer. And then they wanted me to take the ship over to Rota because they was changing home ports. And I just said, no, I can't do it. This ship beat me down. I said, every hatch on the ship is dropped. I was going through scuttles. When they say darkened ship, it's darkened ship. When it's all hands, when it's cleaning stations, from all junior officers, everybody on that ship, every chief, everybody was cleaning. Everybody was in the repair locker. You know, when you on a carrier, you
can maneuver. You can maneuver a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna say it now. I'll be inside the office, just working or whatever, but not on no small boy. They said I flew to the ship one day. That same day they had me in a repair locker. I could not believe it.
Hey, Katherine, and they also look at your fleet tips before you get there. They know your quals. They know everything.
Yep, they already know you are.
Hey, that's how they got me. That's how they got me. Damon with ELD. On that, they said, "Yo, you an ELD instructor."
Oh yeah,
teach ELD. I said, "That."
Oh yeah,
yep.
It was. But let me tell you. Anybody, when I don't follow the advancement anymore, but I know anybody who's on a DDG, any of those small boys, and when they make rank, they deserved it. They really, really deserved it. It's a big. Let me tell you, because on the carrier, I would be so used to being cute and clean, right?
Yeah.
So hair done, making sure you just make sure you was presentable, right? But when you want them small boys, I just see those girls. I just see the young girls, and I was like, Dad, what is going on? What's going on with your uniform?
Yeah.
What's going on? Yeah. And they said, be like Butler. And I was like, I'm just saying. Okay. But those girls, it was 30 of us. Those girls, wherever they at in this world, and I keep track of some of them. They was Ian's, they was engine men. Those girls was humping, and they advanced. They advanced, and they made chief first time up. They really, really deserved it. So
hey, Katherine, I'm gonna go back to that cleaning station thing, man. So me and Damo was on the same ship. Every single person cleaned except for the triad. Everybody except the triad.
Everybody.
The only people who was walking around was the triad doing cleaning stations.
Yeah. And it was really our XO. He would walk around with a flashlight. And so, but let me tell you, it's so easy to those ships compared to where that ship was 250 people, I think, maybe less. That's a supply department on a carrier.
Yeah.
That was nothing. So for me, I was over the burden on the carrier, and we got 300 girls inside the burden and stuff. It was a lot, but to go to a small boy and there's only 30 of us in there, and they would be like, "Oh, I can't send nobody down." I said, "That's all right, I got it. I clean myself. I go ahead and clean." Because it was nothing. It was nothing. But it was a lot of hard work. So anybody who on a DDG, they deserved it. They deserved it.
That made me think when I was a junior sailor, man, and I was on a cruiser, so I've been on a DDG too, but when I was on a cruiser and we pulled into the same port as a carrier, it was a carrier or an amphib, one of the two. And like the young ladies, were beautiful. Like, I'm like, damn, like it's beautiful women. Like this when I was a junior seller.
Yeah.
I'm like, damn, it's beautiful women in the Navy. Like, how are these girls? It was like looking at like America's Next Top Model come down the brow, you know, where our women, and I never thought about it like that. Like they really ain't had time to put themselves together. And then when it's time to hit point, they ready to slide. Like, it ain't no time to do what they was doing on that big deck, man. I was astounded in Bahrain watching.
Yeah, because we had a it was a big preparation for pulling in port, and you want to carry it. You got the night before, nobody going to sleep, they doing hair and doing all that stuff. So it was a lot, but those girls on there, those girls on the small boys, they got it. Everybody who I knew was on there, and they advanced.
They shut down the plant and just at Liberty. They were cheap. Take your coveralls off.
Trying to get you today, Damo. We ain't thinking about tomorrow. Man. We just trying to get you today.
You know how antsy, you know, and Jamal probably can relate, but you know how antsy it is when you like waiting for your friends so y'all can hit Liberty? Like, yo, come on, hurry up, man. Take that shot, man. I'm ready to
waiting to get off the boat with Liberty and having a beer chat. I was like, no, because all the khakis want to be lining up the brow so you can get off. And I was like, oh, cool. I have my chit. And being a YN, I knew the policy. I was like, cool, you have a chit. Walking out, sir, you have to shave. Or shipmate, as it's not sir. Shipmate, you got to shave. Here's nope. We're going out the port. You have to shave. I said, you know what? I'm just going to wait. Let everybody go. The khakis going to be tired. I'd wait after an hour, 15 minutes, because I was like, I'm not shaving. I'm just going to go when y'all done. I'm not doing that.
So even though you had the profile and you had the shit, they still told you had to shave because we were in port.
We're going to a port. It's like different policy with looking.
They're just making up shit.
It's made up.
You know what? I just try to keep my head low.
Yeah, they made that up.
They can find anything, you know. Oh, I don't want them walking around like, your beard is longer than what was it? It used to be. I used to have it memorized. I think it was like a 16th of a quarter of an inch. Yeah. I was like, is that a quarter of an inch? The card says it's less than a quarter of an inch. So that's what I go by.
They used to have the cars on.
Not on me personally, but they do. My master chief, once I was on my way out, he's like, do I need to measure you? Like, I had good rapport with people, so they trusted that I kept it well. But he's like, I got one in my pocket. I was like, you measure. Yes.
Got one.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, he's supposed to have it though. I mean, you know, they can have it, but that's a lot. So you was only did you only go to one command?
I did. So I did the around the world tour with the USS Abraham Lincoln from Norfolk to San Diego. And then I transferred to the HSC-4, which is attached to the USS Carl Vinson when they did their Westpac 2021-22 deployment. It was right when COVID was ending, and we were the first carrier strike group to be able to go to Japan and go off the boat. Yeah, so I deployed during COVID a little bit.
So I know one of the things I know we're going to talk about is transition. So for Katherine first, coming out, so how old were you when you went into the Navy?
I think I was just turning 22 that year. 22.
Okay. What did you do before joining? Did you have like a job or go to school?
Yeah, I was working full time. I shared with the group that well, he hate when I just say I was a single mom. I was a single mom, and I was but I was working full time and going to school at the same time, and I just couldn't balance all of that at the same time. I wasn't getting where I wanted to go. So one of my friend's sisters was in the Army, and she was a single parent in the Army, and she was going to see her have, she just had her baby, and I was just like, how could she be in the Army and be a single parent? And she was just like, it's just like having another job. And now this is in 1994. This is in 1994. This is being said. So at the school, recruiters used to be up there at my college trying to recruit us. So when I heard that story from my friend about her sister, so I just said, okay, let me see what they can offer me. And they offered me, hospital corpsman, but it was at the time that I was trying to go in, it wasn't open. It wasn't open until that fall. And I was just like, if I don't go now, I'm not going. And they was like, okay, we're going to get you something. And then I was just sharing that they was trying to sell me their undesignated seaman, and my recruiter was like, and she was a sister, she was like, don't take it. They're gonna make it sound so good. And they did, because I almost took it.
Yeah.
And so, and I just said, no, I just took it. So I was offered postal clerk, because I was like, I don't work on the weekends now. So I don't want to work on the weekends. And they was like, you're not going to work on the weekends. I was working every weekend for the next 21 years.
Yeah. So did you from New York or New Jersey?
New York.
New York.
Okay. All right. New York. All right. I got that. I ain't anybody had to tell me that. After 20, you getting out, right? So let's say we at the day you get out the Navy at your 20-year mark. I mean, your 21-year mark, when the time to retire, the day you get out. Were you prepared?
Mentally, yes. Financially, yes. But emotionally, I wasn't. Because I didn't think I would miss the Navy.
Yeah.
I was like I said, I was on that DDG. I was burnt out. They beat me up. My knees was bad. I was going through every scuttle on the ship. And so I was like really physically, I was feeling burnt out. So I was really looking forward to getting out. I was, good at saving my money. I was living in Jacksonville. I was still tethered to Virginia Beach, because I had a house here. So I was renting that and stuff like that. I knew what my retirement pay was going to be. I knew what my VA disability was going to be. And so also knew that I wanted to go to school full time. So I knew how much money I was going to get for school. So yeah, I was like prepared. I didn't have a car note. I was, my bills was low. Okay. I just said, yeah, I'm ready. But my first command that I worked at, in Jacksonville, was the Department of the Navy. Of course, there's a mix of chain of command there. You got civilians and you still got military together there. And so you still seeing people, your peers, making scene chief, whatever. And I just said, this not going to work for me. So I decided to go to another federal agency that was not Department of Defense.
Yeah.
To work.
Yeah.
So I finished up one degree when I was on active duty, and then I ended up doing 2 degrees. Thank you, Veterans Administration, for helping me do that.
How many degrees you got, Kath?
I got 3.
Okay, all right, so we got 3. All right, cool.
That thing going.
Yeah. Hey, and Jamal, like, did you miss it at all? I know you just got out, it's fresh. All right, so straight up.
Just real
it ain't hit you yet. It ain't hit you.
Right. So he's just been out since February.
T-shirt.
Yeah. I had it in my calendar. I was a young man. I knew the admin side of it. I knew to make sure my records were together. I was practicing putting everybody else's records together, make sure my fleet temps awards were submitted, and lined myself up. I was prepared mentally to be out. I was prepared emotionally to be out, and I was financially prepared to make sure I was transitioned. So I didn't want to be that sailor that was needing to go to the VA to request like a housing allotment or having to move back home to come back to where I want to go. So San Diego was home, and since I've been out, San Diego still is home for me.
I know you said you put in an OCS package, right? Well, you tried to put in an OCS package, but it didn't get submitted. Was your mindset like, if I don't make OCS and I'm going to get out?
Yes. I wanted to, came in, I was hard. I wanted to do 20 years. I thought I was going to do 20 active. I wanted to eventually go to officer. And I was going to do 20. I was like, we all are doing the same thing, essentially, just at different pay grades and getting paid, but we all still have to be on this boat, live this lifestyle, eat this food, share this water. So I was like, I wanted to stay in, but after doing, submitting that request, getting shot down, and then going up there, I was like, they made it hard. Like, you have to work on this flight deck super hard or be on their schedule, even though I wasn't up on the flight deck as much. I was like, I joined a little bit older. I joined at 26. After you file for your parents' health insurance, it's like, I was like, somebody's paying for me because it's not going to be me.
Do something. Yeah. Hey, Katherine, what is it that you miss?
Oh my gosh. I miss the camaraderie show. Believe it or not, you do miss that. You do miss when everybody is in sync. Everybody knows what to do, right? I miss just working on the civilian side. There isn't if I go on leave, I know that Jamal knows what I do. He's my backup. He's gonna take, step in, yada, yada, yada. That doesn't happen on the civilian side, at least not my experience. I miss transferring every 3 years because I knew I was going someplace different. And then I miss but really on the civilian side, you just can't put on a ball cap and a uniform. You don't even have to iron. You just took it out to dry and just put it on. But when you going into the civilian side, you gotta be really, you have to be really put together. So just things like that.
That part.
But just the teamwork I miss. Yeah. Just stuff like that. But when people got to say, they got duty on Saturday, I said, oh Lord, I'm glad. Oh Lord, I don't miss that.
Right?
I don't miss that. Yeah. And another thing too that I still do to this day, and my supervisor's like, okay, Katherine, what are you doing? Every time I call in, I be like, okay, I think I have to go to the doctor. I have to go to sick call first.
I did the same thing.
I gotta go to sick call and And now I'm just like, what am I doing? I don't have to get a doctor's note, anything like that. So I'm just like, okay, it's just little stuff like that. I just say, hey, you don't have to do that anymore. Yeah. And
I think my biggest thing was like taking leave and not having to say where I'm going.
Yeah. Yeah, that was one too. That was a big thing too. Like where I'm going and where I'm coming back. That when you're on the civilian side, your leave it's only Monday through Friday. It's Saturday don't count. Saturday and Sunday don't count. So I was like, wait a minute, that's a long leave. If you really doing a 2-week leave, you really just taking less days. Yeah. So it's just stuff like that. But let me tell you, anybody that comes up to me, male, female, and they ask me about the Navy, I said, that's the best thing. That's the best decision. One of my best decisions I ever made in my life. And that wasn't planned, because that wasn't something I planned when I was planning to do out of high school. Yeah. So that came out as an adult. I was a parent trying to, raise a child, and that was a good decision for me. And every command I went to, they supported me with my, me being a single mom. They didn't pass favors, anything like that. But they worked with me when stuff like that. So, whatever I had to do, they worked with me. And then of course he got older, and then I wasn't able to, and then I had more flexibilities, and now he's in. So he's raising his family. He's on the Navy. That wasn't planned either. Yeah. I wasn't planning for him to go into the Navy. We never even talked about that. He wanted to go to the Army, and I talked him out of it, but I said, no.
Good job.
But just never going to the Navy. He just came home one day and was like, hey, I signed up. And that was it.
Wow. Hey, Jamal, what were you doing in your time before you joined at 26?
The time before, I was a flight attendant and did that for a little bit. I worked at Verizon. So I did the sales side and the commission when they were doing that type of pay scale. And then I was also, during my undergrad periods, working at the mall.
So what'd you gain from your military? How long were you in for?
Yes.
6. sorry, I don't know if you said that already, but what'd you gain from your experience? Like, how has BNN made you better?
It's made me way more adaptive. When you go underway, I'm very much a planner. I have a schedule, super colored. Most YNs are like that, but super colored. And when I was like, okay, they said underway is going to be next Monday. I was like, cool, I got Saturday and Sunday. Well, oh, no, you got duty in there. So you have to be on the ship this Sunday, you have duty, and then you're going underway that Monday. So you really have to be there and move your stuff to Saturday. So I was like, okay, so being able to adapt is one thing I take away. And being able to, they say resilience, I don't want to use that word, but having a tough outer shell because people talk to you crazy and come in at 26. So I was like, I had some life experience, but when I checked into the boat and I had my ball cap on and you see I have a rag because I get shiny or I sweat easily. I have my rag under my ball cap and he said, take that off. I said, why? I had the ball cap on the uniform. I said, why? As a E6 that's about to pick up chief warrant officer. So he had so much pull. This was my first week on the boat. I didn't know what any of that meant from boot camp. And I said, why? He's like, do what the fuck I tell you to do and don't ask. I said, yes, sir. I took it off. I was like, this is how I'm starting off?
On court. Yeah.
That's terrible.
I said, okay.
Hey, Katherine, I'm surprised that you said you had, not surprised. I think it's a good thing that you had support throughout your career of being a single mom, because not everybody has that same story. I know a lot of people do, but it's a number of people that didn't have support. You know what I'm saying? So
yeah.
Tisha did it. Tisha was single. Well, yeah, you've operated as a single mom for some of your time too, right?
They were pretty self-sufficient by the time I was quote unquote single, and their dad was still active. So he had them half the time. So I would say that like during the time that because I would say when they were younger and I was still married, I still had my command support.
Yeah.
Even having a spouse that was a civilian, because sometimes they be tripping. They think your spouse is supposed to carry everything. So I would say that I had my command support with that.
Yeah. It's hard. I'm looking at it now. Like just even in my role now, like the decisions you got to make as far as the family.
Right.
I mean, my baby, she at an age where honestly it's something every day. Like it ain't like she 10 months. Like it's something every day. Like she's sick. Some reason every single day it's like I can't do this. I can't go. And, my wife is just naturally like motherly. So it's like, she don't care if the job is whatever. Like she a mom first. Yeah. And like, meanwhile, it's like, yo, she's sick again. Yo, baby, I might need you to leave work early. Like, yo, I left work early 2 days ago. I can't keep telling them this every day. And in my role, I don't think nobody gonna like say anything, but I just feel like I'm abusing something. Like if I keep,
most definitely.
Hey, Jamal, quick question though. Like, what is the, like in your transition, what's the biggest lesson you learned like throughout your transition?
Throughout my transition, I learned to set yourself up early. I was fortunate enough to be able to participate in the SkillBridge program. And through that SkillBridge program, I was able to take care of my own personal business, with it being medical appointments, with it being school enrollment, and being here on land versus being out underway and trying to handle that business. It would add a lot more level of stress and adjust my timeline. So definitely when people scheduling and plan ahead.
Yeah. Katherine, you know what SkillBridge is?
Of course.
Oh,
I'm an HR specialist.
Oh, well, okay. Well, you're good then. Hey, so Jamal, as far with SkillBridge, right? What would you tell, like, what's some nuggets you could drop to somebody? I think everybody still, SkillBridge is the most looked up thing in my Navy HR. It's the most looked up nav admin, the SkillBridge nav admin. So what's something that you would tell a young sailor or somebody that's about to get out that's interested in SkillBridge that they might not be thinking about?
I would tell them, just because it doesn't match what your exact desires are, still participate, because you can still add that to your resume, building up some type of skill post the military. It's extra references, and it can keep you going while you're working on what you want to do. you're still going to be able to, most SkillBridge jobs are going to hire you and they even offer you a secondary income if that's not what you want to do. So I would say that's what I do. Apply and go for it and take away a skill and still work on you because they're very flexible.
Shouts out to your command too.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
My command.
For sure.
Yeah.
'Cause that's a 6-month
It is.
commit. Yeah,
it was.
that's big.
My command. Yes. Shout out to them. I don't know if we name drop them, but yeah, shout out to them. They know who they are.
You can name drop them if you want.
You can name drop for the good stuff.
Yeah, I got 77. Shout out.
HSC4. Yes. During my tenure there. I don't know what's going to happen before or after, but my tenure there, 2023, HSC4.
So what did you do for your SkillBridge?
Yes, I was doing, it was in the sense of HR, and I was helping enroll students into specific trades. So they would apply online, and then I was that over the phone guidance counselor, kind of like not a telemarketer, but you applied and then we call and tell you what you would like to do and guide you towards which program would fit.
Yeah. Overall, you got a positive outlook of like your career, right? Out of Navy and your career.
Taking a step back, yes, I take away a lot of good things. You can always find bad. If you want to look, you're going to find bad. So for the good things I take away, I have good references I can use for future jobs. They allowed me to be able to maneuver as much as I could the way I would like to. And I had support, and still to this day, like I'm in touch. That's how I'm here. So, yes.
Yeah. Katherine, did you have a retirement ceremony?
No. And the only reason why I did not, and the triad on the Carney was really telling me I needed to have one. But the only reason why, because the reason that I joined was because of my son. But my son was in boot camp.
Yeah.
And he wasn't going to be able to make it. So I was just like, I'm not going to have a ceremony. But I ended up having like a celebration type deal afterwards and stuff, but not a formal retirement ceremony.
Okay.
So I wanted to add something to the SkillBridge program, because so I was the selected placement coordinator from my agency. So I was the point of contact for SkillBridge for service members to send their resumes and stuff to me. So only thing what I would like to add to that is it is a great program, and even if they did not get a job right at our agency, I assisted them with if they wanted to work in the federal government, I assisted them with how to put their resume together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I noticed that a lot of people, when they show me their resumes, they cut and paste their performance evaluations, their evals. And all that's not going to work. So, and also too, if you're doing a job, let's say you are let's say you guys who like something's engineering, right? Mm-hmm. You work as an engineer, but you're saying, hey, when I separate, I don't want to do engineering, right?
Yeah.
So I would say, think about something that is your passion, something that you love doing. And so for Damon, I just realized your names are almost similar.
Yeah, I just
Damon
switched
and
Damon.
Okay.
Yeah. So Damon, he logged in. So Damon logged in to the thing under my name, but I just changed his name while we was recording. So I think it should say Damon now, and then I'm Damo.
No, she's talking about how it says how it's
your
Damon
names are similar.
Damo.
You just one syllable off, one consonant.
Yeah, my name is different though. My full name is Damo.
Yeah, I saw it. Yeah, I was like, wait a minute. And that's probably why I never really noticed that. Now that you just have it like that.
Plus, you probably ain't seen Damon on social media in 2 months.
Dang.
He a Master Chief. He a Master Chief now, so we get him when we get him, man.
He's working hard.
They got him working. They got them working.
But just something like that. If you work in the engineer department, right? And you just say, hey, that's not what I want to do. When I retire, I want to do something totally different. So I always tell people, look up program management or program analyst, right? Because that's a administrative management job series in the federal government. And I know everyone E5 and above, maybe even E4 and above, you are managing a program. Okay, you managing some type of program. You either 3M coordinator, you a PRT coordinator, you was safety, you did training, whatever program you was managing, you did it on active duty. That can flow into program management, into job series at any agency in the federal government, right? But you just gotta know how to write your resume to incorporate that what you did on active duty managing that program into that program analyst job series. So I always tell that's the tip is I give people like that. And also too, when they write their resume, don't say this is an equivalent. If you're a chief, that doesn't mean it's equivalent to a GS-13. I'm telling you right now, that's not going to work. You have to. It's not. I see that all the time. I say that's not going to work. In the federal government, you have to meet the specialized experience. So, right, if you know you could do this job, and I know you as a first E6 and above, you could do a GS-13 job, transitioning. But your resume, when it come to me, that's what I'm looking for, this specialized experience, because we get audited. And they're gonna say, hey, how did this person get this job? And their resume doesn't reflect it. So just things like that. But SkillBridge is a great program. My agency is always looking for ITs. They're always looking for people who have a survey, a statistician background. I work for the U.S. Census Bureau. They always looking for survey statisticians, math stats, data scientists, ITs. If you got if you're IT that's looking for, you have OPSEC background or cyber warfare, that they're always looking for that. So we always posting for job announcements like that. Those are mission critical positions, and of course HR. So,
and quick plug for Fleet and Family, because they have a resume writing course that you can take there. I took it actually, and also a course for finding government employment, and those are pretty good courses. So definitely a good resource for you to check out.
Hey, Katherine, I got a question. Do you work at all? Well, I guess you don't. So, but you work with a lot of retired military, right?
Yes, but you wouldn't know it. You wouldn't know it. Except when we doing some type of ceremony, but it's not really a big flex, if lack of a better term, when you at a non-DOD agency. Nobody's going around saying, "Oh, I'm retired." This, that, and the third. They don't do that. At least not in my presence.
Do y'all do morale events or happy hours or anything?
Yeah, well, right now we are 100% telework right now. So I've been teleworking.
Sign me up. I need to be working with you.
I've been teleworking for the past 4 years, and it has its ups and it has its downs. Because because our building was going to get renovated prior to COVID. And so when COVID happened, they just said, okay, we just going to telework. And then, you probably know when you telework, you put your productivity is high. Because you working from home, you got on pajamas, you drinking coffee, so you you lose track of the time. So you doing a lot of work from home, and so that kept our numbers up. And so we just, until our building is finished renovating, we 100% telework. But it has its ups and downs. The ups is that I say maintenance on my car. And I'm not
that gas.
I don't have to deal with traffic and, just getting ready for work and things like that. But I miss the downside is that I miss seeing people every day.
Yeah.
Because if you working in person, out of 8 hours, you probably working 3. Because 5 hours is at lunch, or you at somebody's desk talking, or you doing a lot of non-work stuff. So, but when you working from home, it is you working. I work 10-hour days because I have off on Mondays. I'm working 10 and a half hours.
Yeah. I'm reading a book about that right now. It's about burnout and how people that's working from home feel like they living at their job now.
Yes.
So, Hey, so Jamal, what's next for you?
Right now, I'm in my master's program. So that was my transition. I understand the online theory of it's fully online. So I don't get as much as I would like and pay, but through secondary stuff, I was teaching Zumba while I was in the military, so I still am doing that outside. And so small things like that is bringing in income for me. But right now, I'm in my master's program and fully focused on that.
Nice.
Nice.
Yeah, so you living that Cali life.
Living the Cali life.
Look, I could just see.
It
just look like Cali.
Yeah, man.
The sun just shines different.
Yeah.
We pay a sun tax out here.
Yes, we do. But the master's program, it's what I've always wanted to do. It took me a while to think about what I wanted. So during that time in SkillBridge, I got to look into it and see what would fit my lifestyle and what I could grow into as well and utilize, because I had that GI Bill. My undergrad was paid for through sports. So now that I had the GI Bill, I was like, I need to use it on something. I'm not going to pass it on to anybody else. So it's just,
Right.
So what's the last decision you made that was like, this is a bad decision? I'm like, damn, dude, Jamal made a bad decision.
The last decision I made was actually probably in my time as I was transitioning. I had that mental, you call it like, I'm done. I'm about to get out. I got less than 6 months. It's like you're doing your 2-week notice, but you have your 6-month notice. So the last fast decision I made, I kind of took advantage of my leadership at that time because they knew I was getting out. So they kind of gave me some grace. And we had this conversation. So this isn't new news to anybody. We had this kind of like, we feel that you're showing up a little bit later because in the military, that's a good thing. There's no clock in and clock out. Start time's at 8, but as long as you get there before your LPL and your chief, you're good. So if I get there at 8:10, because they're never coming on time. But and so I was like,
we always on time. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know what you're talking about.
From my junior sailor perspective and the time in the Navy, I'll put it.
But they were
never on time.
They were there when you left. So yes, they did make their hours. But when the start time was supposed to be the start time, I'll leave it at that. Y'all pulling on comments. I'll leave it at that. So I took advantage of being able to sleep in a little bit and going in Coronado, in that Coronado traffic, you had the excuse, you got traffic or you have a medical appointment. So I was like, I could be a little late. There's going to be traffic, or I'm going to have to wait in the sick call line a little bit, sleep in a little bit. Where I was going to where I was going, but I took advantage of the time. So legally, being the legal yeoman as well, it was, you're stealing time is the term that would be used if I were to go to DRB for that. So that would be my bad decision.
Like, yo, Chief, I'm sorry to bother you while you still sleep, but I'm running late.
To be fair, though, they would always bring something. They never came in empty-handed, so I'll give them that.
Some donuts, man. Bring some donuts.
Chick-fil-A donuts. Let's go. Let's get it.
That's why I So to both of you, at any time during your transition, after you had notified, Big Navy Chain of Command that you are getting out or your intention to retire, but from the time that you gave that notification until the last day, did you ever have any second thoughts or question your decision?
Mine is short. But I know right away. But go ahead, ladies first. Go ahead, Miss Katherine.
No, go ahead, Jamal.
Okay.
Jamal, go ahead.
No. I know they had the silver ticket, the gold ticket. I did think about doing the reserves, which I did participate in that for 2 months, but I got
2 months.
It gave me active duty vibes. It was a great command and I loved it, but they were very motivated. And that weekend, I wanted to not be as motivated.
Jamal said, nope.
Jamal, that was nothing to do with
This is not the reserve that I thought it was.
It's too much, man. It's like being on a flight deck again. It's like trying to get on that flight deck.
They was too motivated for me, man.
Like, yo, y'all are good, but not for me.
They're good. I'm trying to do school, so I'm like, oh, let me do some schoolwork while I'm here on the weekend. Just sit here and desk sit. But no.
Chill. Yeah, let me chill. They like, no, we about to go PT for 3 hours and after we PT.
Yeah, they said the PRT. I said, what?
Like, oh, y'all working around here.
That was my answer. No, I did no second thoughts. Not against it.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, good. Katherine, what about you?
Well, as I stated earlier, I really enjoyed my time on active duty in the United States Navy. And I did have, because I did have a second thoughts, because they offered me, they said, hey, if you take the ship to Rhoda, that conversation. And, and I really thought about it. I really, really thought about it. But then my knees was like, are you serious right now? Are you really thinking about staying in on this ship for another year? I said, and I couldn't. I said no. And another thing too, it was this, let me tell you, like I stated earlier, my last command, the USS Carney, the triage, I said the triad, not the triage. The triad.
Uh-huh.
They were awesome. The CMC, my XO, I still kept in contact with him, and my the CO. They were awesome. My senior chief, he was awesome. Even the guys that worked under me. I think I was saying to myself, if I would have came to a small deck earlier in my career, it would have been a totally different story. Mm-hmm. And then I probably would have. But I just said, no, I was inching 40. I was just like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't work like this anymore.
Yeah, so that investment is different. That small boy investment is different.
Yeah, and I just said, no, I just can't do this. I can't do this anymore. But if anybody ever say, hey, would you recommend me going into the Navy? I'd say, yeah, I would. And make sure you go designated. So.
I'll chime in on that point. I will still recommend people that's like, hey, do you want to join the military? I will never dissuade anybody from not joining. I'll just say, make sure you choose the shortest contract possible. That way you don't get forced into doing something else afterwards. That's what I would tell them. Mm-hmm. And have a plan. Like, if you don't want anything out, don't just join because you were trying to get away.
One thing I wanted to say, I say earlier, we were talking about this earlier about, because I said I was a single parent while I was on active duty, but it was, in my chain of command was very, they were very helpful. And it was because of the duty stations I was located at. Mm-hmm. Because my first duty station was in Sigonella. My second duty station was on it was in another part of Italy. The ship was forward deployed, so we didn't go on 6-9 month deployments. And then I was in Bahrain for so all those 3 duty stations. I had a housekeeper and a babysitter. So that really, 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 really helped me out. So by the time we came back to the United States, he was a teenager. He was on the threshold of that. So that really, really, really helped me out with that.
Yeah. Hey, Damon, I got a quick question for you, man. Yeah. How much weight you lost on that ship, man? You look a little slim over there.
Yeah, man. Hey, you bullshit, man. I lost like freaking 30 pounds, man.
Yeah,
What?
like you back in fighting shape, man.
Yeah, man. They put.
Is it just nutrition or like you stressed out
Man,
over
them
there?
young
Man?
sailors put me through. Them young sailors ain't what they used to be, man.
They TikToking you. They're like, listen.
Yeah.
And they filming everything. I've never seen so many videos, TikTok videos from deployment in my whole, videos from deployment. I said, wow.
Hey.
Is anybody working?
Hey, Katherine, let me tell you something real quick. I know that's not what we're talking about right now, but let me tell you this. So I just got there not too long ago. Since like July, I think I got there. We first get up.
Which command is
the
this?
Nimitz. USS Nimitz.
They on the West Coast or the East Coast?
We in Washington State.
Washington State, okay.
So we go first on the way I get there, man, and I'm like, normal ship stuff and ship stuff I'm good with. Man, they in the P-ways talking on the phone. Like, we on the way. I'm talking about straight Wi-Fi, calling each other, FaceTiming, the whole nine. I'm like, what is going on right now?
Goodness.
Like, I was stunned. I was taken back because I'm like, what is... And I've been in for a hot minute, man, but this was really one of them things that took me back a little bit, man. And now you're talking about getting sailors to work.
No. But
it's all right though. Don't get it twisted. I mean, sailors out there doing what they need to do though. But
make it right. Make it right, man.
Get on the lawn.
Make it right.
Turn that corner quick before he got too far.
It's just totally different.
Hey, you know when I'm walking through the P-ways, man, on how they hiding phones and man, like I see you, man. What you man? I see you hiding behind that AFFF station. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Are you still the Damon that I remember from DDG that's going to correct every time? Is it like the carrier kicking your ass? Like, I can't correct 100 sailors in an hour.
Boy, that's a whole nother conversation right there, boy.
Okay.
But I'm here to tell you, hey, it's hard out there, man. It's hard because
I can't even believe y'all get a signal in the skin of the ship.
It's way different, Katherine.
They got that Starlink.
I'm just saying, how do you even get the signal?
Oh, man.
Right.
Hey.
Starlink, boy.
Starlink ain't no joke, man. Like,
wow.
Hey, look, in the future, I know Damo, I think where you may have came from when you was on the carrier, maybe already there, but it's going to be out throughout the whole ship. They could be in their racks.
Yeah.
Oh wow!
It's happening.
Yeah. Now we was like moving it in certain places and stuff. Like, so we had Wi-Fi in certain places, but it wasn't all over yet. We had Wi-Fi in certain places. Hey, Jamal, I know you gotta leave us, and I don't want to hold you hostage. So before you do roll, is it anything you want to leave us with? Did we miss something? Anything you want to leave us with?
I did want to touch on. We were talking about programs as far as transitioning. I would advise people to do TAPS in person versus the virtual one if they had that option. I know COVID kind of made that an option. People were just clicking through slides as you're doing your e-learnings. But if you go in person and you hear these people that work in that field for being able to file for your disability, being able to tell you how to use your educational benefits and tap into like scholarships, the VR&E program, there's more money out there, and the benefits that you get and the financial side of it carries more weight than just trying to claim your disability. There's other pockets of income that you can use through your GI Bill if you know how to access other parts and get and take the routes to the planet. Like VR&E, you have to get your 10% before you can access that. And that can also pay for one thing the GI Bill won't, which is aviation school. So that's things like that I would say. So participate in TAPS in person. And also while you're on your way out, if you know you're going to get out, I would say use that US Maps, because those certificates do carry some weight. Add into your resume, as Katherine had mentioned. And those are the two things I would drop people with to do.
US Maps, man.
Yeah.
That's good. That's good to hear.
I got a homegirl that took TAPS class like 6 times.
Yes.
Like every time she thought about getting out, she would take TAPS. But then she would like stay in. I don't know why. Yeah. But she said she learned something new every time she went. And so I don't think you should go 6 times, but I think that it is something that you should do like once early, like when you're thinking about transitioning. I think the earliest you can do it where it goes towards your transition period is like 18 months. Anytime before then, you would have to retake it. But I think it is beneficial for you to take it before that 18 months so that you can start planning. Because I feel like if you take it, most people take it like 12 months out or something like that. If you take it then, the amount of information that you get, you're kind of already behind the power curve if you haven't planned for getting out. Now we got Jamal. He was like, either I'm gonna be an officer or I'm getting out. So he already was planning both sides on his way out the door. But a lot of people, maybe it's a surprise or, something happens and they decide that they want to get out and they don't have that much time. So if you're thinking about it, if it's something that you think that you may be doing within the next 4 years, I think it would be beneficial for you to go to TAP class so that you already have your life map planned out on your way out the door.
Yeah. Hey, Jamal, like I said, man, I know you got to go. I don't want to keep you, longer than you got to be here. And I don't, want you to have the Irish goodbye on us or not know how to say it. So, hey man, thanks for coming. Look like you got a lot like going on. Well put together. Yeah. Those headphones look like they cost about $700, man. So it looked like you got a lot of good.
And the racks.
Yeah.
No, one uncovered.
Yeah, a little chain. Yeah, the chain looking good. So it looked like you got a lot going on, man. So just keep it up, man. Look like you got out with the right state of mind, the right sense. You were prepared for it and everything like that. Hey, so keep it up, man. Whenever you want, man, hit us up, man. Keep us up to date on what's going on.
Make sure to
thanks, man. Appreciate you.
Not be such a planner for a podcast in the future.
It's all good. It's all
but
good.
Thank you. It was a pleasure being here, and I look forward to seeing y'all in the future sometime.
All right, Jamal. I'll let you
man.
Thank you.
Here.
Hey, so one of the things about TAPS that I do, I don't know how official this is, but this, to my understanding, I don't know that you, and I didn't want to keep this up because I know Jamal had to go, so I didn't want to make him feel like he had to stay here. But I think you can't do it like remote without your command's permission. Like, I don't think you could just do TAPS online now. You probably could during COVID, but I think they changed it now to where, because I had a seller recently that had to do TAPS online and they needed command approval to get that shit done. It's also before you go through TAPS nowadays, they got tier levels. Like you don't just go through TAPS as a normal, like, hey, you going through TAPS. Like, you're supposed to meet with your career counselor determine your tier level. And then that is like plugged into the database, the system. And then that determines if you only going to TAPS or if you going to something based off your tier level. And that's pretty much if you're ready to get out the Navy, or if it's some conversations about entrepreneurship or whatever field that you looking at, before you go into the Navy. So just being on this side of the house, I learned a whole lot more about TAPS. I never went to TAPS yet, but being on this side of the house, I learned a whole lot more about TAPS than I thought. It's like a whole, I don't know if y'all saw it, but it's like a whole program. Like, I got to go back and forth with my fleet and family TAP person, like about different things that's done. And that's Congress mandated, so that TAPS is a big deal. Katherine might know a little bit about it too, just being on the HR, side of the coin.
I don't remember. I don't remember going. I went through TAPS because I was down in Jacksonville, so I went to TAPS in Kings Bay, Georgia. But I don't think I don't remember the information. I was just so glad to be not underway that I was just in attendance. So I'm not sure. A lot of the stuff I learned actually from my voc rehab counselor. So I got a lot of information from them, but from, medical VA, things like that. So I don't just remember, and I don't want to put this in a negative light for anyone. This just for me, I don't remember referring back to any of that information besides how to do my VA stuff.
Mhm.
So I don't remember anything like that.
Yeah.
I don't think I didn't take a resume. I didn't do the resume writing course. So I just can't. I don't have anything like negative or positive to say about it. Just
Yeah.
say like
What,
that.
hey, what I like to add to today's sailors anyway, man. Like when we always used to talk about when you get out, make sure you're prepared and all this type of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let me tell you this, man. So I'm a damage controlman, and right now the way we do things in damage control, a lot of my sailors are getting out the Navy, right? It's just the way it is.
Mhm.
How they advance. They're not advancing unless they do, 3 years or more sea duty. So a lot of people are not staying in the Navy, right? That's the way they're doing it. So I'm having all these CDBs with my sailors. And first thing I ask, okay, yeah, I'm getting out. So I always ask them, what's your plan and all this stuff. Man, let me tell you, these sailors got a plan. I think that's the difference in today and back in the day too. These sailors got a plan, a backup plan, and another plan also. But I think it also is about so many different ways to make money now too, though.
Yeah.
Right? So it's so many ways, a lot going on. But I would say, I have to give them some love on this. They have a plan way further than, and I'm thinking I'm finna get them. Like, hey, you need to do this. I got my little program thing set up. Oh, hey, you check this out. You check that out. Man, these sailors already know about a lot of that stuff. When they already know they getting out. So they already got plans, man. So big shots out to them.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Hey, Katherine, you sound like you got a lot of Jews about just transitioning and shifting over from uniform to civilian. Just from what you know about SkillBridge. So I'm like, what's the tea on transitioning?
About with the SkillBridge program?
About anything, about just shifting over from uniform to civilian sector. It just sounded like you knew. It sounded like you know a lot. And I'm trying to.
But let me tell you what really helped me transition and be in the job that I am right now. I always encourage your sailors to do stuff outside their rates. So do those special programs. Cause me, when I did I did a SARP counselor. I did that. I went to that school. I did Department of Career Counselor. And then I did training. So all of that stuff right there, all that counseling and training, that put me, I said, this is what I like. This is what I like to do. I was a logistics specialist. I was a postal clerk and a logistics specialist. I said, that's not what I want to do when I transitioned out of the Navy. So I took those collateral duties and it led me to HR. So that's what I do now. When I still do counseling. I do career advisement when people say, "Hey, I want to switch over to HR" or something like that. Like when we get SkillBridge and candidates, applicants that come to us, hey, if you don't get selected for the job here, they don't keep you. This is how you write your resume. These are the type of jobs you look for. Just think about things that you're passionate about. So like with you, Damo, for example, you are a electrician or
I was an electrician. Now I'm a command senior chief.
Okay. So now you are a command senior chief doing a podcast. Who would have thought, right?
Yeah.
So that you like dealing with people, you like talking to people, you like giving out information. I learned so much from this podcast since I've been watching it, and you all three of y'all giving out this information. So this is for you. This is what you're going to end up doing. This is your passion. And Master Chief, I hear that with you too. And then Tisha, I think you were a legal man.
I was, yes.
A legal man. So
I was a legal man.
Are you still doing legal?
I do paralegal.
Yeah, she's still.
Yeah. That's what you like that stuff. And one thing too, and I almost went to law school, but I kept trying to do that LSAT. The LSAT was kicking my butt. That studying for it.
I heard about that LSAT.
But one thing, let me tell you one thing that the Navy taught me. And because we had to do it on our rating exam, we had to know what the references were, right? So that's another thing with the job that I do. Know what the reference says. Okay, why you did this, why you did that. When I was stationed on my first ship, and we were about to go. We had to go. Well, this is over 25 years ago, so I can say it. So my ship was a subtender. So we would have to go where the subs were, or they came to us. But we did works on the submarines. So one submarine broke down, and they couldn't come to us, so we had to go to them. We had to go to the port where they were, and then our riggers went out to help them do their job. So that pulled us away from pulled me away from my duty station for like maybe 4 months. And so I was like, man, I don't want to leave my son with my Italian babysitter for 4 months, right? So I had to send him back to New York. To his dad, right? So one thing, so when I was talking to the PSD, I was like, hey, don't I get, and remember this is the early 90s. I said, hey, don't I get BAH for my dependents, or where they located? And then she was like, yeah, I read it. I read the instruction, read the reference and everything. And she was like, She said BAH with dependents, you only get that for spouses. And I said, well, that's not what the instruction says. The instruction says dependents. My son is my dependent, so I should be able to get BAH for where he's located. So we went all the way up to the dispersing officer, the CO, whatever, and I end up getting it because that's not what the instruction says. The instruction said just because y'all used to giving it to the spouses, to the service member for their spouses, but that's not what the instruction says. The instruction says dependents, and I have a dependent. And so I end up getting the money for him and for that time period. But I say all that to say that's one thing that the Navy taught me is to read. You read it, understanding. If you don't understand what you're reading, ask someone. But I used to go through that with uniform regs. I used to have a scene chief that always harassed me about wearing eyelashes. She's like, hey, you can't wear eyelashes, blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, that's not what the instruction says. It doesn't say that. It says you can't have them long fluffaluffagus. I'm paraphrasing. You can't have those long eyelashes, but you can't even tell I have. At the time, I was like, you can't even tell I had eyelashes on, and if you was really, really done. But that's not what the instruction says. So just like what Jamal was saying, hey, you can't go out on leave with a beard. People just, this is what I was told. So I'm passing all this bad information around. And sometimes I told my son, I said, every time I say, read your instructions. Read, and he was on the air side. Read what the P485 says, what the P486 says. Everything. Read your instructions because people are going to always try to. This is what we always did. And that's not right. That's wrong.
Knowledge.
You like that's wrong information. Yep. So. But anyway, let me get down. Let me digress. I'm just saying. But what you guys doing this? What I always tell people to do is do your passion. If your next career is your passion, then let it be something you passionate about. And then you don't never think you working because you love what you're doing, and then you end up getting paid for it. So, but that's where I'm at in my life. I'm right. I'm like I love what I do. I go to a lot of recruitment events. I go to a lot of colleges and universities all over, because my job is in DC. So I drive up every once in a while. I just went to Hampton University. And let me tell you, those students there, I couldn't believe it. How well dressed they were. I looked at their transcripts. I didn't see nothing lower than a 3.9. They was stumping the yard and going to class. So it was good to see. It's good to see young kids out. Young kids are out there doing what they need to do. So and that's why I look forward to going to those recruitment events.
Nice.
So.
You out here by where I'm at. I'm in the DC area too.
No, actually, I'm down in Hampton Roads.
Oh, oh, damn. Oh, yeah, because you work from home, so you ain't never gonna.
Yes, but I think you mentioned one time that you were you were at the Navy Yard.
Yeah, I was just in Hampton Roads. I just left.
Oh, okay, but I used to work at the Washington Navy Yard, and then I moved over to the U.S. Census Bureau. That's it.
Oh yeah, I was just in the Navy Yard too. I just left there too. I done been to like 3 commands in the last year. But yeah, I was just at the Navy Yard like about a year ago or something. Yeah,
I was there. I worked there for like I moved up. I was in Jacksonville and they PCS'd me up there. They paid for me to move up there, and the PCS move on the civilian side. On the federal government civilian side is not the same as when you're on active duty. So it was not a good experience.
Damn.
So
noted.
Yeah.
Damn.
I tell you, I think I'm gonna have a rough time when it comes to transitioning out the Navy. I think it's gonna be a little rough. It ain't gonna be financially. It's not gonna be, mentally. I think it's more gonna be what I'm used to. The things that I'm used to doing every day. I mean, I've been in the Navy 5 days out of high school, right? And I already been here 26 years. So all the thing I know, I barely even know. When I go back home, like to Mississippi, I barely know where I'm going. That's how long it's been since I, been there, like been around and driving around and stuff. So it's going to be a transition, for me. But in a way, I'm kind of looking forward to it also, though. So it's both like and then it's like, man, I can't wait. So yeah, I'm looking. It's gonna be crazy, but I'm ready for it though.
I just always say, listen, wait till Big Daddy send you your checks on the first. You be like, okay.
Thanks.
I said, Uncle Sam and Uncle Daddy Davey send you like check. You be like, okay, let me get over this.
Yeah,
right.
Real quick.
Right. Exactly. It hits every time. It hits every time.
How your son? How your son liking it?
My son came. He was on. He came on active duty. 2015 as an LS. So I said, okay. I gave him the the long and the short. I said, okay, you already went to college. You already did that frat boy stuff, and I said, you're gonna go to A school, C school, whatever. Those young kids down there are gonna try to get you to buy them alcohol. Guess what? You can't get caught up in that because you're gonna go down there older, so you got to look out for that. And then I said, also too, you behind the curve. I think he was like 25 or 20. He was 25, I think, when he joined. So I said, you're gonna be coming in, and he came in as an E3. I said, guess what? You're gonna have people your age that's already first classes or chiefs. Okay, so you can't be like, oh, I'm old. You can't focus on your age. You gotta advance. So pay attention in A school. He paid attention. He ended up getting accelerated advancement. So when he went to his first command, he got capped to E4. Then he made E5, and then he ended up going to a really, 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 really good command that's located in Virginia Beach, and that's all I'm saying. And they really took care of him.
That's good.
They really took care of him, and he made first class there. And they was trying to encourage him to stay. They knew when he got there, he wanted to be an officer. He always wanted to be an officer. He wanted to go OCS, and I couldn't talk him out of it. I said, hey, why don't you just make chief first, then put your. He's like, no. He said, no. I'm gonna. He said, well, I'm gonna do both at the same time. And so when the results came out for OCS, they were saying, hey, hang around and wait for the results for the chief to come out, because there was a good chance he would have made chief. But he said, nah, he was saying to me, he's like, Mom, I know what they're going to do to me. So he just said, no, I'm just going to not do it. I just want to go ahead and just move over, just transition. Mm-hmm. But he loves it. He's one of those guys that, he's like, everybody loves him. Everybody loves me, blah, 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 blah. But I just say you can't get caught up in that. Because the first time you do something wrong, you done.
Yeah.
You done. So just always focus on doing the right thing, but just don't be all caught up in, oh, everybody loves me. Everybody takes care of me and things like that. So, but I think he's gonna be an awesome suppo on his ship. The submarine, he's just, they have accelerated advancement. He said that's why he took it. And I just said, I don't know anything about sublife. I don't know anything about that. I can't, every time I think about it, I'm just like, oh my goodness. But I've never heard anything, any accidents. I don't remember, anything going crazy going on down there.
I mean, it's a couple major ones, but I don't want to talk about them.
Okay.
Mess your thoughts up.
Now you left it with a cliffhanger. Dang.
Yeah, you can find it yourself.
But I'm just saying, not the submarine that had the civilians on it.
Like a submarine. And I like a submarine coming up to the surface, but it's underneath a ship, and it like.
Oh, listen! Let me make sure my mom can't hear this.
Yeah.
My mother keeps asking him, "Where are you going? Why are you taking a submarine?"
She's about to call the ombudsman.
There's a couple major ones out there.
Treadmill is dangerous, right?
Listen,
Peloton is dangerous, right? So oh man.
I just said, wait, what that? Wait, look, nothing. I guess I wasn't looking for. Look.
Don't look for it, Katherine. Please don't, man. I don't even. Hey, so how'd you stumble across us? Like, where'd you find us at?
So let me tell you. I think somebody probably tagged me on something.
Yeah.
Somebody tagged me on someone because I see that a couple of my friends was following you, and somebody tagged me on it. It came up in my feeds, and I listened. I said, "Oh, this is interesting." It was one, I forgot the topic. It's been a lot of topics.
Yeah, we talk too much.
Yeah, it was some interesting ones. I like the one we one person I was watching. Well, I started following all three of y'all, but the guy that I would have probably never followed, but his episode was so interesting was the guy Sir Lunchtime. And I was just like, what? Sir Lunchtime? So that prompted me to watch the episode. And he been giving out some good, I said, well, Dad, when I go to Cali, I'm going to go look up some of those places that he's been talking about.
Yeah.
And I think because he shared a personal experience about his adoption, and I said, "Wow, that's okay." So I was like, "Okay, that's an interesting that was an interesting episode to me." And it's been a lot of them. When you had the YN one that was from Decade. It's a lot. There's a lot of them. And then Tisha had the girls group, the group with the women. That was like, I said, oh wow, this is nice. I said, this is really nice. And then I think I remember the clip where you was somebody, I think it was just you and Tisha the other day. You was talking about elderberry, and then somebody was in Nas.
Yeah, that's how I got it from, man. I got a lecture about that. We got a lecture on YouTube about that clip, man.
I saw that. I was just like, okay. I just said, I wonder when Nas do elderberry between Hennessy shots or something. Because I always see him with a shot. I love Nas.
Yeah.
But I was like, when he's doing me talk about elderberry. But now Hennessy, I said, I can hear that.
So, hey, Katherine, so how many times did you take the chief exam?
I started taking I started taking the chief's exam, and the first time I took it, I didn't make it. And that was in 2004. And then every year that I was in, so it was like 11 years after that, I always made board. But let me tell you, I was really sassy. I was a sassy person. So if you if you know me and stuff, like if I'm just like I said about the instructions and references and stuff like that, that's gonna make some people feel some kind of way sometimes.
Yeah.
So but I came to terms with that, and that just wasn't my path. But hey, it's a lot of people that I have a lot of friends that made E7 and above, and I have and I had a lot of people, junior sailors that's underneath me that made chief. So, and they come back to me and they're like, hey, it wasn't for you to taught me how to study. Because a lot of people was reading them what's those
yeah, I know North Star.
North Star.
Yeah.
And they was like, North Star. And I'm like, what are you reading at? That's not going to help you. I said, the Navy is telling you where they're getting their questions from. That's what the bibliography is for. Read those. Go over that. Even if you don't read everything, you don't read every reference, know what's in the reference. Because they're going to give you a question. They're going to say, what chapter is da-da-da-da-da? Can you find this or something? So I said, and the answer is going to be there. It's no trick questions. So, and that's how I taught my son how to study. And that's how I taught my junior sailors. I taught them how to study. Read the bibliography. Don't get that outside stuff.
Yeah.
So
that would be the only reason I would consider having a kid join, because it's like I got all the secrets. Like I got the cheats. I got all the tips.
Yeah.
Like, hey, do it like this. Do this. I'll do this like this. I'll do that.
But I think it really benefited my son because our times overlapped. So I was retiring and he was coming in. So I knew the Navy that he was coming into. I said, I just left it. So this is where I'm passing the baton to you. This is what you got to do, to succeed, to advance, and things like that. So
I tell you, my son joined and he don't ask me nothing.
No,
he his own dude, man. Which I respect it though, man. I do. I really respect it. But he's he IT, so he advanced fast, and all that stuff. So and he's doing good for himself though, man. He's you can see it's like a whole different from when he was 18 and now that he 21. So his whole demeanor, his whole walk, his whole come in the room, it seems like everything is just different about this dude now, man. So I be looking at him, and I'll be sitting there watching him, looking at him like this, who is this dude? Who is this guy right now, man? I was just picking up the drawers out the floor a couple days ago. Now I'm walking around here like you own the place. It's crazy, man.
He ain't never had no issues with his chain of command and nothing. Never talked to you about nothing like that.
Let me tell you, man. I tell this story on the pod. I know it's kind of a crazy story, man, but he had one story he told me because he doing security right now, right? So they come in. This when he was in I don't know where he was at. I think he was still in Japan, and he was coming in. He was coming in one day. He was coming in late, and he was throwing up and stuff. And he came in. And he was like, hey, he was telling them that he was like he ain't gonna make it in. And then he was saying, his chain of command was trying to make him come in, make him do this and make him do that. But he was doing security. So if you're doing security, if ain't nobody else come in, ain't nobody coming in and take your place. They do this shift work stuff. Yeah. Right? So I was telling him, I say, hey, man, if you don't be showing up for meetings like that and you throwing up, you tell them you sick, they probably automatically gonna think you've been drinking the night before and you not want to come in and all this type of stuff. So they let him make it. He comes back in and then he gets mad at his chain of command because they have him doing breathalyzer when he first come in and have him doing all this stuff. And he's mad. He called us. Oh, that's normal. Because they try to figure things out. They try to know what's up, why you ain't showing up, why you doing this. I say it's kind of normal, but the first thing that kills me is he say, I don't like this command. You know what I mean? What do they do to you? What are they doing? You know what I mean? And that's one reason I'm asking these questions, because that's what I like to know, because in my position too, though, you know what I mean? I want to know, because a lot of people always say, man, I don't like that command doing this. So I like to get to the bottom of it. What did they do? And of course, true sailor fashion, he really didn't give me nothing. You know what I mean? Like they really didn't do nothing to you, bro. You know what I mean? Like, it's just like it is what it is, man. But yeah, but he had no issues out of him. He haven't called me with no major issues, and he haven't got in trouble. You know, and that goes a long ways now in the Navy because I'm on a ship that people go on to Captain Mast daily. You know what I mean? They got it's like this. It's like daily. So so right now, man.
Has his thoughts changed about, and this could go for you too, Katherine, but has like their thoughts changed about the job now that they do it?
Ooh,
what do you mean?
Like you mean like their thoughts on how they think of like
about what you did or what you do? Has it like, can you tell he like either gained like a little bit of understanding about what you do a little bit more than he might have before?
I do. I think not just Navy stuff though. I'm talking about like life stuff. Like he always told me, now I know why you guys do this. I know why you guys did that. Like not necessarily Navy stuff. Like even when it comes to money and how we spend money and how we doing things, he'll come back and say, now I know, I understand why you guys are doing it like that. So from that point,
that milk is expensive. Them eggs.
Yeah. Hey, he just got him an apartment. Now he got electric bill. He got water bill.
Yeah.
He got real adult
bills.
Yeah. Because you know, E4 and below, they got their own little barracks room. They chilling now. You E5. Now you got to get your own spot. So it's a little bit different for him, man. But he's going to be good, man.
I don't know. I think my son, because it was just me and him growing up. It was just, because he's the only child. He saw what I did every day. He knew what I was going through and stuff. And he always give me my props. He was like, Mom, it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be where I am right now. And every time he say that to me, I'm just be like, that just hit me right now. My stomach just dropped just saying that, because he's always like that. And I just never, as a parent, you're just like, okay, this is something I had to do. You don't even think twice about it. But just the little nuggets that that he saved, that when you talking to them, you don't think they're listening. I would have never thought that my son would have followed me into the military, especially to the Navy, because his dad was in the Army, and just 2 weeks ago, because me and his dad was down here, and me and him, we grew up together, so we still friends and stuff like that. He was like, I didn't know his dad was even the one that talked him into going into the military. I was just like, I never knew that. I didn't know that, but I say all that to say is that just when you think they're not listening, they listening. Even when and that's what I told him. Even when you're going to be a department head, you're going to have to, as a parent, those kids, you're going to be those kids' parents. Those junior people on your ship, they're going to be looking at you to be an example, just like your son is looking at you to be an example. And you looked at me and your dad for your examples and stuff like that. So you got to just be mindful of that. But and then one thing I didn't know he was a handyman, because growing up I couldn't get him to put nothing together. Now he's mounting TVs and I'm putting up bookshelves, and I said, "Where you learn that at?" Wait a minute, I paid somebody to put the stuff together. You know how to do it. He's like, Mom. I was like, garbage disposal. He was like, don't worry, I got it. He looked at a YouTube video and figured it out.
Yeah,
I said, right what now. The bumper class?
Yeah, man. Crazy.
Yeah. The one thing you did touch on that I do want to touch on though real quick is leadership. And I'm dealing with it right now actually, but like, leadership is it's like electricity, man. Like that shit should be flowing like back and forth. Like you can't just delegate. Like, all of that, like inspect what you expect and all that, those things and stuff. Like you cannot just delegate if you're a leader, man. It just don't. And a lot of time I saw stuff like that. I used to talk about that on the carrier a lot, Damon, like just leaders just pushing out like information into the wind and shit and never expecting it to come back. You know what I mean? So, you got to go follow up, man. You got to go ask questions. You can't just send your people out to train and then not ask the people that they train about the training. You know what I mean? Not just asking them, but go ask the junior sellers that they train. Go get some follow up. Get a report back, because that's where the real truth is. The real truth is like, how the fuck is my leadership working? You know what I mean? Like, is it really working, or am I just saying things?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, y'all know I like met the CNO the other day. Y'all
I
know
saw
that,
the
right?
pictures, man. I
Yeah,
saw
I
the
meant to see
pictures.
I guess I'm gonna hold off till we just do our episode. It's just us. But I did meet the CNO, and it was good. It was a good.
Hey, I
good,
tell you,
good time.
man, the people who meet the CNO, man, they big time.
Yeah.
They big time.
That wasn't the case. That wasn't the case with me.
They big time.
I was in my head. Like, I'm in my head.
That's a big deal.
I'm in my head like, do not tell her that I'm Damo from Permission to Speak Freely. Do not. I'm like the people that's like, hey, this is. I'm like, don't say that. Whatever you do, don't say that. Oh, Permission to Speak Freely. I know about that podcast. Like, no, don't do it. But we'll talk more about it though.
Yeah, man. That's
Hey, Katherine, we ain't gonna keep you here all night though. But we appreciate you, checking in with us, listening to us, talking to us. I love that you loved your career. I love that you missed a career, and I love that your son.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that your son is following in your footsteps. That's a really good thing. Is there anything that we missed though that you might want to talk about that we didn't get to?
No, let me see. Let me see. I jot some stuff down. Okay, so one thing I did want to tell you, and this is just from the HR stuff, because if anybody is planning to, and Tisha, I don't know if you applied like this, but just remember that on these read the job announcements, because there's a lot of job announcements that's open to the public, and it has veterans preference. So veterans get preference when it's certain job series. Well, certain grades and job series, they go to the top of the list if they CPS or CP or CPS veterans. And then if it's professional series and stuff, you just go to the top of the list with your of how you score. And what that means is, without going into mass detail, is that you get preference. You get to be looked at by the hiring managers if you are a veteran. So just pay attention to those job announcements and apply. If you meet the specialized experience, apply to them. Also too, your DD 214.
One thing about that, yes, I actually was hired through the veterans preference, actually. So I applied on USA Jobs. It was open to the public. That job typically is not even open to the public. I just so happened to come in at a time when they were doing this mass hiring.
Yeah.
And so I did a interview, and pretty much I was hired pretty much on the spot. And that was largely due to my veterans preference. Now, I also had the resume to match it.
Yeah, because your stuff translates over.
That I had the resume to match it.
Yeah.
But I actually applied. It was a GS 9/11. And I actually negotiated based on my resume for a higher GS level. So that veteran preference comes in clutch. And what I found out recently is, once you get in and you're applying for other positions to go higher, you still use it. I thought it was like a one-time thing, like when you're first getting hired.
You could keep using it. Yeah.
Yeah, I had no clue.
But just and also too, once you, the whole idea is just to get into the federal government and to get tenure. Okay. So if you in there, you can still you can use your veteran preference to move around, but once you got you have tenure, you can still use your SF50 to apply to other jobs. So, but yeah, just you can just apply. When you apply, you can use both pathways.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so all the bases are covered. And then people with their DD 214, always just remember if you are applying for federal position, make sure it's the member page 4, because that's going to have the type of discharge that you have on there. So just be mindful of that. And also, if you have a disability rating from the VA, don't send the letter that has your diagnosis on there and how much money that you're getting on there. There's a letter that it just says that you are 30% or more veteran, and that's the only letter that you have to submit. Don't send the one that has everything on there.
Yeah.
Because I'm looking at it and I'm like, wait a minute. They gave this, you get this. And I'm a veteran and I'm like hating on you. So just imagine a non-veteran looking at that, and then it's like, veterans are, blah, 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 whatever. Just don't give all your information. Just give the letter that says you are 30% or more veteran, and that's it. And other than that, I don't have anything else.
Yeah, they them Jews, man. We need them. Young sellers need it, and sellers need them joints.
Well, Katherine, I want to thank you also. Hey, great conversation. And I got your name wrote down. So when I get out, I'm gonna be most definitely in. I wrote that name down time I got on here. HR and your name down.
Yeah, the Census Bureau is all over the country, everywhere. And they're doing, you can telework. Sometimes some positions have remote positions. You never know. You never know.
Good.
Most definitely.
Yeah, thank you, Katherine, for coming on. It's always great to see another woman on. I'll be outnumbered most of the time with these dudes. But it was great to see you come on. And I love the story about you and your son. I'm hoping, my son is 15. And so I'm hoping that he will join the Navy, actually. So I know, which is crazy, but I'm hoping that he will.
EM? You gonna be electrician?
Nah, I don't know about that. Well, he gonna have to do something.
Best rate in the Navy, man. And people just
he gonna have to do something. But yeah, I want. As you were talking about it, I was just kind of imagining, like, man, I wonder how my son is gonna do. I wonder what he's gonna do. So yeah.
So it was. He thrived from it. He ate off of it. He just remember, like, man, all the Jordans I gotta go with it. I gotta go get my own. I gotta go buy my own.
Yeah, that's fact.
Yeah, I could talk you guys to death, but let's. All righty.
It was good to have you on.
Okay, take care.
All right,
talk to you soon. Hopefully I talk to you soon.
Most
okay.
definitely.
Yeah, anytime.
Bye.